Welcome to yet another episode of Band Stripped. We are very pleased to announce that we have Rubber Duck, one of South Africa's finest bands, in studio tonight with me, the Eskimo Rider, for your viewing pleasure on Band Stripped. Emil and Nick, welcome to Band Stripped on Hot 91.9.
What's happening?
Hey.
Thanks for having me.
I've been very keen to be to get to talk to you guys, and we played a lot of your music on the station over the last few years.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure a lot of stations have, and you've probably been to a lot of stations, but I can promise you have never been to an interview such as this.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah,
It's going to be very interesting. I am the Eskimo, and I'm going to take you through a journey tonight, so our audience and our viewers and our listeners can be entertained. Now, first story I want to hear is, tell me how you guys put this band together. How did this whole thing come about?
Well, it's actually, I was actually going to make the story a lot shorter than what it really is.
Quite a
it's
long,
a very, very, very long story. But basically, we were all in music in the music industry, playing in other bands, and a lot of us doing corporate work. I was singing in a corporate band. Sheldon was playing saxophone in the corporate band, and I was working with Brendan on producing other stuff. And then we produced the songs together, and we thought that let's release it. And we got Sheldon in to play sax with us, and we played one gig, and we got booked for another gig for a festival after our first gig, and we were like, well, okay, cool, this could be serious. And then our first song did extremely well, and we realized we had to write another song.
Yeah.
So to cut the story short, trying my best. It started off as a three-piece band with Sheldon for a year, and me and Brendan, and then Emil joined.
Started as a threesome, and then
yes, and then
as one does.
Yes, exactly.
And then it became full-out four-piece.
Full-on four-piece.
Yes,
so full play.
Yeah, there we go. And Emil joined. We found him on Facebook, and that's the end of that.
Now, in terms of the chemistry, I mean, you guys are all a similar age, right?
Not really.
Not really. I think we all grew up with a similar taste in music. I think that helps.
And food? Taste in food as well?
Yes, we love the spicy food.
We say Emil's saying we love the spicy food. Nick, does he speak for you?
I love spicy food,
really?
man.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love spicy
so
food.
amazing, man.
Yeah, spicy food's the
Gotta do
best.
it.
So when you guys started making music, obviously you had your first hit, right? Now, there's a chance it could have tanked. And if it tanked, what would have happened?
Well, I wouldn't have had a job if it tanked. I only joined a year into the band, so if it tanked, I'd be probably sitting on my mom's couch still. Living that single bass life.
Yeah.
But thank goodness it didn't.
You know what, I think it's what made us really different to a lot of bands, which has made it a lot easier for us, is the relationships and networks that we built when we started the band.
Yeah.
We had a very solid team from day one. We were able to produce our own music.
Yeah.
Brennan's our producer still to this day, where we worked out of his studio, so our costs were extremely low. Kyle White was our guy who still films our music videos, and he started out filming our music videos for nothing because he was starting out too. Now he's one of the best music video directors in the country.
So you guys have organically evolved together.
Yeah,
right?
and I think we each bring something really unique. I had a social media background. Sheldon is a monster saxophonist, and then Emil came in and made all the deals for us. Like as one would.
Oh right, that's very nice.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not stereotypical or anything.
Yeah.
I love business. I love how the industry works.
So do
and
I, Emil.
I just happen to be Indian, so it just all worked out for the best.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting because that's individual DNA, and you all have individual skills. You guys are really playing as a team here in this entire setup as Rubber Duck, right?
Right now, that's exactly how it works. We do this full time. We all draw salaries. We run it like it's a business, Rubber Duck Pty Limited.
Yeah.
And so Emil does all the management. He does all the finance. I do all the marketing and advertising and all the design work.
Do you guys sell those amazing caps?
We do. We sell our brand. Our brand does extremely well.
Like
we actually have records at music festivals for the most merch sold because people can wear it as an accessory and not feel like a groupie at the same time when wearing our merch. That's what.
But if you feel like a group, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's not a
it's
bad
okay.
thing. No one's
40%
judging.
thinks that it's the Durban Underwater Club, but the other 60% are loyal. So.
But the thing is with the caps is that people wear them as an accessory. They feel comfortable wearing them out because it doesn't say Rubber Duck anywhere on the cap. It just makes them feel good. It's a cool accessory to wear. That's what we try to do with the brand.
Now, from a musical point of view, was there initially a preconceived plan to craft your music in a certain way, or was that something that you feel developed organically?
There was never really a sound we were going for. Anybody Got Time for That was the first song we released, and that was originally meant to be a dance song.
Yeah.
And then it became it's still a dancier song, but more with the more acoustic elements. And then we were very limited in the beginning. We didn't have a drummer, so we split the whole drum kit up between us on our feet. So I would play the hi-hat, Sheldon would play the crash and tambourine, Brendan would play the kick drum, and Emil would play the snare drum on his foot. And it was really a cool thing, but we were very, very limited. So our first album does sound like a bit of a Mumford & Sons / Mango Groove kind of vibe. And then,
interesting mix.
But lately, it's in South Africa, what we've come to realize is that it's very hard to stay true to yourself. I know there's a lot of bands out there that will always say, I want to stay true to myself, but if you want to survive in this market, you cannot do that.
No, I think that's good advice. I think you've worked it out, and I always give bands advice is, yes, we're all artists and we all have a craft, right?
Yeah.
But part of the craft is being successful at the craft, isn't it?
That's it.
And being able to survive. Otherwise, you'd be doing this for 6 months and you're right, we'll all be sitting on couches again.
Yeah. And I think the important thing there is holding on to your DNA. I think in as much of an industry and sound dynamic that can change and evolve, there's certain aspects that will always allow you to be yourself and to familiarize your audience with yourself.
Yeah.
So it's never to lose those things, but to not almost go with the flow, but adapt with the change.
Yeah.
And be as current as possible.
Yeah.
Now, for the first time, is your first song that you've selected for tonight's Band Stripped.
Yeah.
What went into the song? How was it crafted? What is the song about for the listeners out there?
Ooh.
It's about to get deep.
Is it about sex?
No, it's actually
not that
it's
deep.
actually
Is there sex in it?
There's sex. There's a sax in it. Yes,
so that's something to do with sex, right? I was right.
In a relationship, it's quite a strange thing where often you as a guy, mainly as a guy,
always a guy,
you get in a lot of trouble for something you don't truly believe you should be in trouble for, and you will apologize to that person because you got to do whatever you can do to make the relationship strong and work.
Yeah.
And sometimes you apologize when you don't really even mean it, but you have to.
You don't know why you apologize.
Yes.
Don't know
but you
why
do it to keep the peace, right?
That's
because you're a guy.
Exactly.
Because you're a guy. That's
upsides.
But
I suppose the upsides too. But
yeah, so the song's basically it's around those kind of lines. But the story behind it's something like that, and it's a beautiful song about just two people. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Nick and Emil. This is Rubber Duck with their first track on Band Strip tonight on the SA Music Box with me, the Eskimo Rider. This is For the First Time.
'Cause baby, I was wasted. Had one too many beers and I lost my mind. In the morning I could taste it. It's not the way I believe I was designed. So give me one more chance tonight. We can dance beneath the street lights. 'Cause you hold me like you did when we were just kids for the first time. I wish I could explain it. If I could see the pain that I left behind, I still think that we can make it. I know that I was wrong, but let me prove you right. 'Cause in giving one more chance tonight, we can dance beneath the street lights. 'Cause you hold me like you did when we were just kids for the first time. Don't wanna be the shadow that gets left behind you. I wanna be the man that gets to stand beside you. So hold me like you did when we were just kids for the first time. My body's wrapped in chains, you need to free it. Need to free it, I won't repeat it. My body's wrapped in chains, you need to free it. You need to free it. chance tonight, so we can dance beneath the street lights. 'Cause it hold me like you did when we were just kids for the first time. Don't wanna be the shadow that's left behind you. I wanna be the man that gets to sit beside you. And so hold me like you did when we were just kids for the first time. So hold me like you did when we were just kids.
Welcome back to Band Stripped here on Hot 91.9, and that was Robert Duck with For the First Time. Emil, Nick, and the team are in. There's a full house tonight. This is as packed as we've had the studio, guys. You have a single release strategy. This is what I picked up. I mean, you've been releasing singles over certain periods of time, which is obviously very good for digital. Do you feel pressure, any type of pressure, to keep up with the release of songs at a certain frequency?
Oh,
Yeah.
all of the pressure. If there was an amount of pressure you could measure, it's there the whole time. It doesn't change.
Like high pressure. Like the type of pressure that brings rain.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we just under the approach that we can have an album a year in terms of singles if we release one a month. So it's just, I think what's happened, and because of digital, what's happened is that people's attention span is completely different when listening to music.
It's much shorter these days.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have a hit, and after 2 weeks, people are saying, "What's next?"
Yeah. So why
guys,
not exactly
enjoy the one we have.
And also, when last did you listen to a full album besides the CD that was in your car? It's very rare that you do these days. Or you'll listen to two songs, come back to the album a week later.
Well, I'm a bit
try it
old
again.
school, so I'm a bit of a traditionalist,
Yes.
and I'll tell you why a bit later.
Okay.
But I think the older audience is still has the patience for that, but the younger audience, which is a very much, I mean, what I've picked up, a large part of your audience, very impatient.
Yeah, but I think also there's been a huge drive towards playlisting now. So people aren't really trying to. Obviously, the big artists will release albums and they will get listened to. But if you're not a massive artist, the single strategy is the way to go, because you actually got to aim for playlisting. That's the biggest thing, because you want to be on top of the week. You want to be on A-list country, whatever the playlists
and
are.
And then freshness all the time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, with that comes another consequence of that is obviously the pressure comes into writing and creativity. Now, creativity for songwriters and artists, you need time.
For sure.
Time to make the sort of product you want and to get it to sound the way you want. Even if you have a targeted strategy towards making commercially successful singles, it's still an art form, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Sure.
I mean, how do you guys work through that in terms of the time frames that you have?
I think in terms of songwriting, I think we're very blessed that Nick does a lot of the songwriting for us, and his ability to put lyrics to paper is quite fast.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate him?
Quality or speed?
Both.
I'm joking. He's a solid 10. I think we allow ourselves as a group to refine the process.
And you trust each other with the process.
Exactly. There's a theme. He writes a theme. There's a story that comes out in the song. I think that the time that comes in is getting that song to sound as current, to fit into a vibe. And that's where we allow Brendan and all of us get involved, but that's Brendan's strength.
Brendan does his work and lets it evolve from there.
Exactly. Take the song idea and the lyrics and then try and translate them into a vibe or that DNA kind of a thing we're speaking about.
And often there's a song idea before the lyrics or the song even starts. There's an idea that happens. It's either a sound check or Brendan has a very cool thing that he's produced, and it sparks production. It sparks a final product, But it's I mean, we've done that's happened a few times too.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Nick, you writing guitar a lot of the time, or do you find melodies pop up?
It's a very strange thing. I'm actually really having massive writer's block writing on guitar nowadays. It's just that a lot of the way that Rubber Duck sound has changed is it's kind of keys driven a hell of a lot these days. So, and it does change the writing process quite a bit.
I mean, you can change tempo, intonation, everything. So
everything really does change. I mean, you're also trying to move away from the whole Mumford & Sons type sound.
Sure.
And it is cool, but I don't have a piano. I need to actually learn how to play one.
His dad, how old is your dad?
My dad's
his dad is vintage. His dad is vintage, and he used to play piano when he was younger.
Yep.
Didn't play for a while.
He hardly played piano.
He hardly played, but now he's taking it up. But he's learning from like an app, And he like rocks like covers and stuff, learning charts and
Sight
stuff.
reading, really.
What
Sight
a
reading.
maniac.
I mean, listen, I play guitar and I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Just trying to pick up the piano so
Yeah.
I can just extend my writing capability and the types of
Yeah.
songs I write.
Yeah.
Do you find, I mean, from a production point of view, now that you're getting to this, let's call it hybrid phase in terms of writing, production, etc., you find that from Brendan's point of view, are there songs and sounds coming in from that side that are influencing songwriting?
100%. 100%. I mean, there's been a lot of ideas that Brendan has brought that he's worked on previously.
Yeah.
And there's some songs that he's brought that he's worked on a year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And you hear it and it sparks something. So yeah, that I think that's what's happening. A lot of bands. I think if you're blessed to have a studio, it does really affect the writing because you can write in that way.
Yeah, and you're allowed to make mistakes and change things, and you have the time.
Yeah.
I think the hardest thing with that is because you are afforded that time, the pressure of the deadlines comes in, where it's we have this creative space, but sometimes with too much time we lose track of where we need to, which is also the hard balance. How do you allow the creativity to flow and to get the best
so
product
be
out,
deadline driven and still get the
you know what I mean?
Still get the right thing out. Have you guys ever worked through the night?
We have the
What?
Have you ever worked through the night?
But now we also in an Afrikaans band at the same time. So now we've got 2 projects that we're working on at the same time.
What's the Afrikaans band called?
It's called Postduif. And so I mean, we're working on 2. Our week has been
Pigeon.
Post Pigeon. Our week has been like now split into 2 bands. It's quite interesting.
But that's nice from a creative point of view because it's allowing you. And I would imagine there's probably a hint of silliness to it. Or
No, it's actually
band?
quite a serious band. We actually Postduif has been nominated for music awards already. I mean, it's 20.
Can't believe how serious.
And it's the same band.
It's Rubber Duck with another singer.
I see.
Yeah, James Boland, he's the singer, but it's been really fun. But but again, the writing process is completely different. Where it's like you can set trends, but who's setting trends for us in English music is Post Malone, it's Khaled, it's guys like that nowadays. When you want to get on commercial radio, which is extremely difficult.
Are you developing a bit of a Post Malone?
And it's never going to go on my face.
No,
so,
it's not going to get up there.
Not on my neck. I don't know.
So tell me about Through the Night. I made my pun reference earlier.
Straight over Nick's people, but it's alright. It's alright.
People out there will get this. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Through the Night was another deep song.
Cut the story short, Sheldon and I were in a hectic relationships that ended quite abruptly.
Cue violin.
And that song pretty
Those are
much
the best
been
ones,
about
man.
that. Yeah.
That's what gives you fuel to write because it's
Yeah.
emotive writing, right?
Yes,
and you find as a songwriter that you find that emotion fuel. It's faster to fuel a melody or lyric from a raw emotion, whether happy or sad.
Yes, I think so.
So that's not bad.
I think it's a lot harder to write fun songs.
It is. Yeah.
Happier songs. It's a lot easier to write. It's a lot
agree
easier to
with you.
write sad
Is
songs.
that why Sam Smith never smiles?
That's why.
That's exactly why he doesn't smile. And also because he needs to lose a few pounds. But anyway,
He's lost quite a bit though.
that's not going to be edited out somehow. But anyway, that's going to happen. This is Rubber Duck. As you can see, they're having lots of fun in studio tonight with Through the Night. And we're going to take you through the night with us.
Feeling like we're gonna lose our heads, spinning hearts from the weakest threads. Cause there'll be times when we're waiting on a call, but heaven knows what our heartbeats for. Our heartbeats for. And feeling like we're learning how to fly when we've been grounded for most our lives, shaking hands with the devil or the door, but heaven knows who our hands work for. She left me on Sunday, I was up by Monday, I just threw my hands to the sky. They say we're not broken, what breaks left unspoken. Are we gonna sleep through the night? I'm barely breathing in as if my breath stops at the beginning. Running wild just like a child, but I'm a puppet on a string. I'm just not sure when it will sink in. She left me on Sunday, I was up by Monday. I just threw my hands to the sky. They say we're not broken, what breaks left unspoken. Are we gonna sleep through the night? We're gonna lose our heads, spinning hearts from the weakest threads. There'll be times when we're waiting on a call, but heaven knows what our heartbeats for. She left me on Sunday, I was up by Monday. I just threw my hands to the sky. They say we're not broken, what breaks left unspoken. Are we gonna sleep through the night? Cause we lost feeling, we're too far from healing. She said she needed some time.
Welcome back to Band Stripped. That was Robert Duck with Through the Night. The guys are just getting warmed up in here, and it's the temperature in this studio has taken off by a few degrees. Speaking of taking off, becoming a popular band, and this has happened, I mean, your first release was 2014, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
2014 to now is just about 5 years. You've become an incredibly popular band, especially if you look at radio airplay in South Africa. How has that changed your outlook to music and to the world? Yeah, I didn't say they can all be easy questions.
I think, like it is tough because the success, everyone sees the success. They don't see
what goes behind
the 5 years of blood, sweat,
the hard work,
fighting, tears, disagreements, all of those things.
I'm just going to put this into context for the audience out there, right? I mean, what you guys have described is quite a fixed and organized structure in the band to get your outputs out, to manage yourselves, to really be as efficient in your outputs as possible. And that's a very rare thing to see in a band. And for me, it's part of the DNA of why you've been successful, right? But still, having all that happen, that's inwardly. When you guys are sitting with each other, how you see each other is probably the same. But how the world sees you starts to change the way you see the world.
Sure. Yeah.
And I suppose that's what I'm reaching towards.
I think what a lot of people don't understand, they think that what we do is fun. And it is, don't get me wrong, it is fun. But they think because they work maybe an office job from 8 to 5, that what we do isn't considered work, and that we get on the exposure work is dropped around a hell of a lot in our industry. You can do this for exposure, but exposure can't feed us.
No, exactly.
And a lot of people don't understand
I'm with you guys on that. When people say, do it for exposure,
I mean, it's like, if you're an accountant, you're going to do my books for exposure. But I think it's, it's been a very cool, interesting journey for us, and I think it's still got a long way to go. And our next step is obviously we wanting to get out overseas now. But again, that's a complete. People go, why don't you go overseas? Because the fact of the matter is, it costs a lot of money to just go overseas. You forget that you're flying six people,
a lot of money,
feeding 6 people,
and a lot of risk.
And we're losing out on work back home. Sure. So it's a very difficult thing. It's easy as a one.
But you never know, right? I mean, back in the day, I discovered inside a band called Watershed.
Yes.
That was about 1998, and there was a DJ from Germany that was in South Africa at the time when Indigo Girl released, and he took a copy of the single back to Germany, and that song became a #1 hit in Germany.
That's amazing.
So there is a degree of chance and luck that goes into it.
100%.
But there's also, I mean, you've worked out how the SA music industry works to some degree, and you've had a lot of success. It's no different overseas. It's about perception. I think you guys have the right background and work ethic to be successful overseas.
Yeah,
it's about finding the right steps.
Exactly. I think what we've worked out is having the right team here is extremely important, and what we also need is the right team there. So it's having someone on the floor that's going to be that side who's going to be working for you on the floor. That is hard to find because you don't know who they are. We don't know who. That's what we need.
That's it. Will they be committed to you?
On the floor. Yeah.
Oh, that's the name of a song.
Yeah.
Just
Versace.
That. Yeah, exactly. Versace on the floor. Rubber duck on the floor. What would you like to achieve in music, say over the next 5 years?
Sure. I think...
Are awards important, or
can I be honest?
hit singles important?
I even think getting on some sort of tour with a big band would be amazing as an opening act within, if we be realistic within the time frame.
Yeah.
To get a song out that does extremely well internationally will take a lot of time before you can actually do a headline tour for yourself. But I think our short-term goal would be to get on a tour with a more well-known band, and from there start making relationships and then networking until we do in 5 years' time maybe have our own headline tour internationally. That could be great, and playing some shows that, you know, like in America and stuff that a lot of artists aspire to be on. Tiny Desk. There's a lot of cool things you want to be involved in.
Live at the Red Rock.
Live at the Red Rock. That'd be amazing.
That would be amazing,
Stadium.
right?
You know?
Yeah,
that would be amazing, yeah.
O2 Arena.
O2 Arena.
And let's assume that the band is not Mumford & Sons, which is... Give me an example of a type of band that you would love to support on the tour.
Oh, wow.
Yo.
Did I cut out all the options with Mumford & Sons?
Yeah, Mumford & Sons already chose a local South African band, okay?
Exactly. So jealous.
So jealous.
I don't know, I mean, other bands that are still bands, doing band things.
Young the Giant, do you know that band?
Young Giant.
Young the Giant, they're
Giants.
very cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
And their sounds evolved very similar to how your sounds evolved, but in the opposite way. They started off with, in a similar way. Started off very strongly acoustic and electric driven, and now they've evolved into a lot more electronic and beat driven produced. But the authenticity of their songs and their songwriting is still there, and they sound amazing.
Well, if they're listening.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think there's a huge touring market overseas. What we battle with in South Africa is the fact that we have 3 major cities, of which Joburg's actually the major one where all the work goes down, and the one that actually pays your bills. Where you go overseas to America, you can travel for a whole year and you can play one city once.
That's true.
A week. You know, it's just and you can go next time you play that city, it's the next year. And I think that's why you start building these followings that get bigger and bigger and bigger. Whereas here, if we play 3 times a week in Joburg, people are going to be like, well, I saw them last night.
And on social, you have an opportunity to start connecting with other artists on social media to try and link up. So, you know, it's really changed the way that the industry works. And I see you guys are quite business savvy in terms of the way you see your brand and your artistry all coming together.
It's also very, to cut it in, it's also very record label based. I mean, a lot of those artists get on tours with an artist who's under the same label.
Yeah, that's correct.
And we completely independent.
There's a strong independent rebellion.
Yeah.
To quote Star Wars, forming.
It's tougher, but we like it that way.
But I think it'll be worth it in the long run. I think the entire industry is changing as a result of that, because you are a lot more in control of your destiny. Right now, if you were signed to a record company, I'll be very honest, you will be in substantial debt, and you'd have to pay all that back.
Yeah.
Right now, what you guys have done on your own, organically, is forge your own destiny, record your own songs, keep your costs low, start generating income from live performances and from your airplay. I'm assuming you have your publishing sorted out as well, so you can see how all that works. Now, you've already set up for the long term. Let's cast our minds forward 20 years. How do you want to be remembered as a band? When people talk about you, what do you want them to say about you?
Yes, these questions are tough.
Yeah,
that
but it's so
Indian
beautiful.
bass player had the best smile.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
I think a lot of what we do as a band is we people feel good when they watch us, and we are able to take people through a lot of different emotions when we do a show. It's not just completely happy all the time, or we just take everyone through emotions, and we've had now, to be honest with you, actually what we want to leave behind has happened to us recently. We've had a person come to us who said to us, like, I was going to kill myself 3 years ago, and I listened to your song, It's Alright, and that if it wasn't for that song, I wouldn't be here. And then we had another guy whose wife is currently
she's got like a terminal tumor,
brain tumor, I think it is, and their song is our song called Feet, and they're like, and that has brought them hope and it's brought them closer together. And I think that's ultimately what we want to do. If we can change someone's life, just one person even. I mean, that's our job. I think that's what we're meant to be doing.
Oh, that's it. You hit the nail on the head there. Ultimately, when you speak to most of the successful artists in the world, and I've had the good fortune to work with many of them, from Radiohead to Foo Fighters and things like that there.
Hey, don't you have connections for us to get on tours?
Well, we'll come to that
Okay.
after the show. But that's what everyone has in common. Everyone has a story to tell. You guys have a story to tell, and it's not about you. What you're writing may come from you, but people will find different things in your music and in your songs and your sound. And the fact that you can make a difference to one person's life makes your whole journey worth it, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. Exactly.
Now, if you keep writing songs and keep making music, that's a legacy that you can live for, because you try to think about how many people's lives you have touched through people just listening to your music or watching you perform.
Yeah.
And that's a worthy cause to pursue, isn't it?
It is. It's a great cause. And also how many people have touched us.
When you say us, are there specific band members you refer to,
I'm
Nick?
joking. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No, but that was very bad
No,
timing,
listen, that
right?
can happen. It's normally the guitarist that gets...
We need to get the Eskimo on tour. That's just to make us feel good about ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes, you're good at that. Goodness.
So tell me about It's Alright. I mean, obviously, the song has for the song to reach somebody and touch them, it obviously has quite a strong lyrical content.
Yeah, it's alright. It was actually it did extremely well for us. It's our song that still to this day the crowd just goes wild for.
I still hear it on radio stations.
Yeah, I mean, when we were writing that song, it was it's literally just about being who you are, and it's okay to be who you are. It's okay to love whoever you want to love, because at the end of the day, it's acceptance. And I mean, forget the razor, grow a mane. Some of the lyrics. Don't linger on in just one place. I'm even trying to think of the lyrics on the spot. Because when the mirror sees the crevice on your face, you linger on in just one place. It's like just about moving on, getting on with life, and just being you. At the end of the day, it's alright to be yourself.
Absolutely. In fact, I do a little cryptic lyric in my show, normally in every show, and I pick out great lines from musicians. I'm going to remember that one. Nick, that's a lovely line to actually use. Now, I'm a big collector of caps.
Yes.
As you can see. And I love your caps. But there's somebody who loves it more than me. His name is Sam. He's the engineer of the show, actually.
Okay.
And he knew you were coming here today, so I did promise him that you would organize a cap for him.
Awesome. I think
he'll make you sound amazing.
On the left, Mr. Emil.
Yes,
he's the guy too.
And he'll even throw in some nice reverb for you to make you sound.
Sam!
How's that reverb for a cap?
Sounds like a deal Nick's gonna have to pay for.
No, fantastic, guys. Next up, if you're listening late at night on this beautiful Sunday, we've kept you energized and kept you awake. This is It's Alright by Rubber Duck. Welcome back to Band Stripped on Hot 91.9. That was Rubber Duck with their third and final track tonight. Highly entertaining and incredibly talented band and very organized, as you can hear, deserving all the success they are currently enjoying. Now, Emil and Nick, please tell us, where can people find your music? And as a first step?
Yeah, I mean, everywhere digitally. I mean, you can go to whatever you listen to.
Google, iTunes,
Spotify. Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music. I love YouTube Music because you can actually like now listen to everything.
Jukes, if it works.
Yeah, everywhere, everything, every single platform you can possibly find us on, we're on. Yeah,
yeah, fantastic.
I think.
It's true. You have a website as well, right?
Yeah, we do. rubberduck.co.za.
Okay,
and it's Duck without the
fantastic.
K.
Yeah.
Now, I always tell our audience, please go out and support bands on social media, especially to create a groundswell of interest. What are your social media handles on Facebook, Instagram?
It's Rubber Duck on Facebook, it's Rubber Duck Music on Instagram, and it's Rubber Duck Music on Twitter. And then, do we have any other social media? What other social medias are there really? There's a new one, but we're trying to work it out still. This is a new one that all the youngsters are on. What's it called? TikTok. It's really
Sounds like
interesting. You should give yourself. You should try it out. It's going to be like the next big social media. It's blowing up like crazy at the moment.
Purely video content.
So
people sharing audio clips where they almost lip sync the audio clips and then they tag it appropriately.
And I can pull audio from his video and mime to whatever
so
he's
it's like
made.
Dub Smash, but better.
Exactly.
Yes.
Dub Smash on Instagram, but purely together.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Now, you've got some gigs sort of coming up over the next week.
Yeah,
what's cooking in the world of Rubber Duck?
There's
Let's
so
speak
much.
to the guy.
There's so much. I'm going to pretend like I'm not reading.
This is
I'm
when Emil comes into his own.
It's going to flow right now.
Yeah, go for it.
So on the 5th of October, we at the beach in Rivonia.
Yep.
Playing a club gig. We don't do lots of club gigs, so it'll be very special, very different.
Nice.
On the 6th of October, we're at the Spas Women's Race in town. Also a very cool event outdoors. So ladies, if you're ready to put on those yoga pants and go running, then come along. We've got a very cool show with the Afrikaans project that I'm going to punt, but we're playing Veyveld out in Pretoria. It's massive. Posthave's only been around for 6-7 months now, and we've already got such an amazing show. We're down in Cape Town the following weekend in October, the 17th of October, playing at the Jagger Lounge, new venue in town.
Cool name.
We have at the end of the month in October, we've got 2 amazing shows. We're playing at the BMW M Festival at Kyalami.
Yeah.
Amazing day, cool cars, racetrack.
Yeah.
Pull in if you love motorsports, come and do it.
You said cool cars. Are there only BMWs or are there other cars?
I'm not sure, but I know BMWs are there, and I'm not because I'm Indian. They're also very nice cars. And then we're playing at the Monte Casino Halloween Festival, the Mexican festival.
Wow, you guys have quite a roster coming up.
And there's so many private
October.
gigs. That's only all the public ones. We've got so many private gigs as well. But it's really fun.
Fantastic, guys. Listen, fantastic work. Now, people know where to find you. They know where they can see you. And they're going to see you here. This will be posted on social media over the next week. So people can get to check it out and get to share it. Your live Unplugged on Band Stripped. That was Rubber Duck concluding tonight's Band Strip feature. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. You're wonderful guests. And I wish you all the best with your upcoming singles and your upcoming gigs.
Thank you.
Hot 91.9.
Playing the best old school and R&B.